How are you? Hope you had a nice evening yesterday and that you had a good morning doing your English. Today is day 2 of our math lesson and we're still looking at elapsed time. You will notice the LI is the same. It'll be the same for the rest of the week. So let's start our lesson now. Let me minimize myself. Right, so date today is the 2nd of June 2020. And the LI is to calculate elapsed time, and this is what I was referring to earlier. This will be our LI for the entire week, and we'll just be looking at it, taking it slowly, taking it step by step, and looking at all the different ways that we can calculate elapsed time. So before we start, please make sure you have a pencil, a ruler for your number lines, and a piece of paper or a book to write on. So once you've got everything with you, let's make a start. Right, so number talk is you have 2 clocks here. Look at number 1 and number 2. What's the same? What's different? Looking at each clock, so take each one individually. What will the time be in half an hour and what will the time be in 1 hour? So have a go at that question and pause it and write the answer down on a piece of paper. So you have 2 clocks here. The clocks are identical in terms of the style of clock. You have, if you looked at this really quickly and looked away, you might even think that the 2 clocks show the same time, but they don't. What is the same is that the minute hand here is in the same position as the hour hand, and the minute hand here is in the same position as the hour hand on this clock. The time on this clock is actually 3:59. The time on this clock here is 11:20. In half an hour's time on this clock, because the time here is 3:59, in half an hour's time, the time will be 4:29, and in an hour's time, the time will be 4:59. For this clock here, the time is 11:20. In half an hour's time, the time will be 11:50, and in an hour's time, the time will be 12:20. Hopefully you got those right, and that's for you to get your mind going and used to looking at analog clocks and working out how to tell the time. So let's get started. So our key vocabulary is the same as yesterday. Hours, minutes, elapsed, which means past, as we know, and time taken, and intervals. So we looked at the definition of elapsed time yesterday. What I want you to do now is have a go at trying to write down the definition in your books. So what does elapsed time mean? So elapsed time is the amount of time that passes from the beginning of an event to the end. And hopefully you will remember that. So yesterday I gave the example of break time. The time that elapses during break time is the start of break at 10:40 to the end of break at 10:55 as an example. Good. Yesterday we explored elapsed time in hours and half an hours, and today you'll be continue to look at half an hour. Yesterday we were looking at from 4 o'clock to 4:30, or from 4 o'clock to 5 o'clock, or 4 o'clock to 11 o'clock. But this time we're looking at half an hours, but they're a bit more complicated. So they'll start at either 4:30 or at an o'clock time. Right, so here you have 2 images. So I want you to have a look at them, and you don't have to write this down necessarily. Just think about what's similar about these 2, what's different about these 2 images here. Off you go. Right, so both circles, both the same size. This is simply a circle which is divided into 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 equal segments. This is a clock, which we know is also divided into 12 equal segments, but they're divided, aren't they, into 12 intervals of 5 minutes. Right, good. Now, let's look at the minute hand here. Where is it? It's the 12. Now, how could we represent an elapsed time of half an hour using a red line? So, if it's 8 o'clock here, after half an hour, it would be 8:30. How can I draw a red line to show that half an hour that's elapsed? Let me show you what I mean when I say that. Here we go. So at the start time, the minute hand would be there. When half an hour elapses, the minute hand will be there. And my red line is this straight line. So if I move my line across here, so this straight line shows that on this side, half an hour has elapsed. Good. Now look at these clocks here. What is the time of both these clocks? So here, the time is 5 minutes past 8:05, and on this clock, the time is 8:35. What has happened to the minute hand? I think that you'd agree that half an hour has elapsed. Now, how, you know, my red line was like this in the previous slide. How can we draw a red line here to show the elapsed time of half an hour? Just pause the video and on your books, draw how the red line would be to show the half an hour that's elapsed in this situation. Here we go. So hopefully you will draw the red line like this, because the start time is 5 minutes past, and after half an hour elapses, it's 35 minutes past. Now, how do you work this out? So we can represent this by writing the following number sentence. 5, because the start time is at 5 minutes past, plus 30, because 30 minutes have elapsed, equals 35, i.e. 35 minutes past. The minute hand is on 5 minutes past. 30 minutes later, it will be on if I can get this right. Okay, let's look at another example for this. So here are our two clocks. Okay, look at the time on both clocks. What happened to minute hand? The same thing is happening to minute hand in every scenario. How can we represent the elapsed time using a red line? So draw your red line to show the elapsed half an hour. Here we go. So the start time was 10 minutes past. Finished at 8:40. So your line should be like this. This red line shows the elapsing of the 30 minutes. And let's go to our number equation to represent this. So what is a number sentence that we can use to represent the elapsed time? So what time did we start on? We started on 10 past plus 30 gives us 40. The minute hand is on 10 minutes past. 30 minutes later, it will be on 40 minutes past. Excellent. So here is our next example. What has happened to the minute hand now? And of course, draw your red line to represent the half an hour of elapsed time. Right, so here we go. As you can see, the start time was at 20 minutes past, half an hour elapsed. So my red line, and hopefully your red line, would look something like this. Good, now let's go on to the equation. So what number sentence can we write to represent the elapsed time? Now, as you can see, as each slide goes on, there's more and more missing information. So you'll remember that it started, just pause the video and look at this section here and fill in the missing gaps. Off you go. So hopefully you would have written down 20, because it started 20 minutes past, plus 30, that's the number of elapsed time. So 20 plus 30 equals 50. The minute hand is in 20 minutes past. 30 minutes later, it will be on 50 minutes past. There you go. Excellent work. So here's an example. I'm not going to read out the whole paragraph, so you know what I want you to do. I want you to draw a red line to show the half an hour elapsed time. And then I want you to, if you can remember what the missing, what the equation is, write that out as well. Off you go. Right, so here's my clock. The start time would be 25 minutes past, and it would end at 55 minutes past. If I was drawing the red line, I would be drawing this, and hopefully that's what you've drawn too. This red line here, it's gone a bit off, represents the half an hour of elapsed time. Now let's look at the equation. So pause the video, fill in the missing information, and then we'll go through it. Right, so the hand was on 25 minutes past, 30 minutes elapsed. So the time now be 25 plus 30, which is 55. So the minute hand was on 25 minutes past. 30 minutes later, it will be on 55 minutes past. Excellent, those of you got that right. Now, look at the following times. What will the time be half an hour? Use interval of 15 minutes to express this on a number line on your whiteboard or on your piece of paper. So I'm going to move myself out of the way and myself here. So this is another way that you can calculate elapsed time. So we used the line, didn't we? And we added on the 30 minutes to the start time and worked out what the new time would be. Here, it's asking you, because there are two sets of 15 in 30 minutes, it's asking you to use a start time and jump in 15 minutes. It'll be 8, jump in 15 minutes, it's 8:15, and jump another 15 minutes and it'll be 8:30. And this is represented by this number line over here. So what I want you to do is do the same thing, but for this clock here. So just bring it up for you. For this clock here. So what would your start time be? Jumping 15 minutes intervals, what would your end time be? Pause the video and have a go. So your start time would be, as the clock shows, 8:15, sorry. And then you'll have your jumps of 15-minute intervals, which I'm going to put up there for you now. So you've got this jump here. Oh, no, it's not doing it for me. Let's try it again. So, yeah, there you go, that's better. That's one 15-minute interval, and that's the second one. So from 8:15 to 15 minutes will take you to 8:30. Yeah, 8:30, and then another 15-minute jump will take you to 8:45. So it'll be 8:45. So those of you got that right, well done. And if those of you didn't quite get it right, don't worry, we have more examples to practice on. So your next example is this one. This is your start time. Using your 15-minute intervals, what will the end time be? So hopefully you would have worked out that it's 8:20. 8:20. 2 jumps 15 minutes would take you to 8:50. Well done, getting that right. And your final example is this one here. If your start time was 8:10, what would be the time in half an hour using 15-minute jumps as intervals? So hopefully you have written down start time is 8:10. After 15 minutes, it would be 8:25. And after the 15 minutes, it would be 8:40. And then obviously you would draw in your jumps here. Good job, guys. And Danny is back. Danny the dog says that to find the total number of minutes that have elapsed on a clock, you must divide by 12 because there are 12 numbers. Now, is he right or is he wrong? And when you answer your question, don't forget to write down in full sentences. So I agree with Danny Dog because, or disagree with Danny Dog because. Pause the video and let me know what you think. Off you go. Now, Danny Dog thinks we need to divide by 12 to find elapsed time. That's not quite right, okay? You need to be clear about why the number 12 is important in this situation. Now, on a clock, 12 is important because we have 12 intervals of 5 minutes. Now, when you try to work out the amount of time that has elapsed, you look at the time, the start time. So they say the minute hands on the 1, and so say the minute hand, the end time, the minute hands on the 7. We don't divide by 12, we multiply the number of intervals. Between 1 and 7, there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 intervals of 5 minutes. We do 6 times 5 equals 30. So Danny is actually wrong. Got that right, well done, because it's quite a hard concept to explain. Okay, the time has come now for you to complete your tasks. Please don't forget to take a picture of your work and email it to us at year3@grange.harrow.sch.uk. Love receiving your work, love having a look at it, so please do send it through. Now, your task, as always, as it is every day, can be found on the Grange website under the Online Learning tab, Year 3, and today's task will be entitled Math Task 02/06/2020. You click on that tab, you'll come up with this. Now, task 1 and task 1 you'll have a number of clocks here. As you can see, 4 clocks, and for each one you find out what the time is currently. So the time here currently is 4:10, with the time being 30 minutes. Then what's the number of equations you've used to work out? So the numbers that the equation that we filled in during the main lesson, that's the number of equation you write down here, and you fill in the missing information in the sentences. Task 2, for each of the clocks, the 4 clocks that you looked at in task 1, they want you to draw a number line over the 15-minute intervals to show the elapsed time in each one. And the first one I've done for you. And for task 3, you've got a number of statements here. You need to read them and write down true or false next to each one. Let me go back to my smartboard. So if you have not had enough of time and you want to keep going, well done to you first of all. And here is your challenge. Challenge is true or false. If the current time is 7:43, in half an hour the time will be 8:15. Is that true or is that false? And you can use a number line to help you work it out. So that's it for today. I will see you tomorrow for day 3 of this week. Have fun, have a great day, have a great evening, and stay safe. Take care. Bye.